Hi, welcome to Knits Up. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I am KnitterCNY, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram. There is a podcast group for Knits Up podcast at Ravelry. There is a Facebook group for the Knits Up podcast, so you can find me all those ways. I haven't recorded a video podcast in quite a while. I think I recorded one maybe for the whole COVID pandemic hit. But this is my computer / yarn room that's not really that super organized. But you can see yarn in this purple tote. This is a purple tote, and all that has is sock and shawl yarn, mostly sock. That little shelf has a few skeins of cotton dishcloth yarn. I've got 3 projects I'm going to show you, one of which is done, 2 that I'm working on, so you'll get the idea. And then pretty much that's going to be it. I'm trying to make it short. These are my Peyton's Croy Mexicali socks. They are very colorful. This was from a mill end that I bought at Cambridge Fibers in Ontario. 3 years ago I went to Ontario, to Niagara Falls first, and then I went to Listowel. I'm mispronouncing that horribly, but that's the way I hear it in my head when I see the letters on the page. Listowel, Ontario, where the Spinrite factory outlet store is, and normally this time of year they have a big ball sale, tent sale, and that's what I went for 3 years ago. So, but I didn't buy this there. I bought it at another store called Cambridge Fibers that's really near there, kind of. I stopped in Niagara Falls first, rented myself a nice hotel room, stayed on the top floor, watched the fireworks over the falls, walked down to the falls. It was really nice. It was the Doubletree Hotel that was in Ontario. Now, if I wanted to get into Ontario, I couldn't even go because we can't go over the border into Canada. And I believe the store is closed to the public at the moment. Last I saw on their website, they're catching up on orders that were emailed and called in. So give them a chance to do that. The one project I've been working on is out of an interesting yarn. I'll show you the yarn. It looks like that. You're going to say that doesn't look like a ball of yarn. It looks like this. It looks like a chain because it is. It's a tiny tube that I can stick my finger in. See? It's a little bigger than my index finger. And then what you do is unravel it. Woohoo! So this colorway is called Odyssey. The yarn is Lion Brand Penelope, which I don't believe is being manufactured anymore. So you might be able to find it as a clearance yarn on their website. I'm not really sure. I didn't look that close because they did a website redesign and a lot of their old stuff has just disappeared. If you need a pattern that's an older pattern, you can always go to the Wayback Machine and look up a pattern that way, because Wayback takes a snapshot and those patterns show up. Those colors are pretty accurate. I'm using a Hiya Sharp 2.25 US 1 2.25 millimeter needle on the foot. I used a Addi Sock Rocket 2.5 on the leg because I wanted a slightly stretchier leg. And I learned how to do a new and interesting heel called the band heel. Band, and then you do some interesting things, and then you pick up here, and that is what makes your foot. There's no gussets in this. And I'm doing pretty well. I'm down to here. So the toe should be coming along shortly because I made the cuff a little longer than it needed to be. So that's good. And then the other thing that I'm working on, or will be working on, started at one point. I'm sure I did a page on it, but this is Peyton's Croix that I did buy at the sale 3 years ago. And I believe this is the raspberry colorway. I don't know that the colors are all that accurate because of the lighting setup that I have. I have an OttLite with basically a piece of paper over it to diffuse the light. Because I'm trying to film as the sun's setting and it's just kind of, you try your best, but what can you do? So if I look washed out or if I look red or odd, that's why. So I'm using a 2.25 millimeter US size 1 Nova Platina from Knitter's Pride. I'm doing it Magic Loop. I used the Magic Cast On. I don't know. You know the Cast On. It's the one that Kate Bordai demonstrates that it goes tick-tock, tick-tock with this really old, like 10-year-old video that's very fuzzy, but you know, it's like birds talking to each other or something. She has a story. It's really weird to watch, but it's okay. So I got 2 balls of that, and I've got to buy some more reinforcing thread because I think I used the turquoise reinforcing thread on this and kind of used it up. So that's what I've got. The other thing I was going to talk about is Blueprint. I don't know if you guys caught the news. I'm assuming most people did, or they got an email from Blueprint. Blueprint was Craftsy. Now it's Blueprint, but now it's closing in the next couple of months. So last weekend, I think it was like midweek that I got the email, and then by last Sunday evening you had to do all your purchasing, which seemed kind of ridiculous to me, to give people about a week to download these classes or pick your classes or whatever. It seemed weird. But anyway, so I had 9 Forever classes that I could get. So I picked those and I ordered. Their shopping was closing too, so I ordered a Fox Paws scarf kit because I have that class. I've got to figure out how to download them. Supposedly right now you can download them with an app, but they have to be saved in the memory of your phone or something like that, and you can't use an external hard drive. It's just all kinds of weird to me. I'm hoping that they figure out a more permanent solution to this, because my fear is that the app will go away and then I won't have classes, and you know, it was a good model and I'm surprised they didn't do better during the pandemic, but I guess with people not having the extra funds to do things, and not everybody is set to need an entire class for something. That was, I think, one of the disadvantages of their model was it was an entire class. Well, maybe you only needed a 60-second, skill refresher. Maybe you weren't interested in all of the class. Creative Bug is a little bit different in that they do like a little short project and it's a short class. I think because they were sponsored by Joann's too, they sort of did a little better. Your average person was like, okay, whatever. A lot of people don't want to spend $20, even if it, the regular classes were usually $40, but they had so many specials, it was ridiculous. And then when they went to a subscription model, they were discounting the prices heavily, and they would give you a free class, and it was all kinds of giving away a lot of content for free. So I don't know how I'm going to record it. Somebody said something about Windows 10 having an Xbox game bar where you can set the class to play in its entirety and then record it with that so it saves to your computer. I've got to see more about that and see, hopefully they get some kind of instructions, because that would sort of be nice. I couldn't tell you how much money I've spent on classes because it's been 10 years, so I would buy one here and there, and a lot of them lately have been free with the subscription. I've never watched all of them all the way through. I think the only one that I did watch all the way through was Laura Neal's sock architecture class. That was really interesting to me because I knit a lot of socks, as you can, or not knit a lot of socks, as you can see. So I'm trying new things. We'll see how it goes. And I am going to hopefully upload this to YouTube, and then hopefully we'll see each other more often. I'm going to try and record again. The Logitech camera is the one that I bought originally like 15 years ago. It works really well. I don't know that my video quality is perfect, but it is what it is. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope that you, if you're participating in the demonstrations across the country, bless you and stay safe. If you are dealing with COVID, bless you and keep safe. I would hope that everybody is gonna be okay with this. It's a very tumultuous time, and to be honest, my knitting and my crochet has been my saving grace. I will sit on the back steps of my home and watch the birds and the wildlife. I'm just sitting in one of those collapsible chairs, and I take it out, pop it out, and then just plunk my butt down, have a Pepsi, and watch the wildlife, which is consisted of a deer and a fox last week. We have a fox that lives in the neighborhood, that lives under one of the boat houses of one of the homes that's more down by the river. My house is up the street from the river. I can see the river from my house, but I don't have boating access or anything like that. Our river goes into Oneida Lake, which has really good fishing if you need someplace to come fish in New York State. Oneida Lake is really nice for that, both in summer and winter. We have ice fishing in the winter. And fishing is really nice because you can socially distance from somebody, because you can't cast and be right next to somebody, usually. Because otherwise they wind up with fish hooks in odd places. But we have a lot of fishing boats that come out. We have like a beach here that's a county park too that's actually open. I think it's 50% capacity right now, and they'll let you know when they reach capacity. They just close the gate. There's also a boat launch there, so if you have a boat, you can put your boat into the water, and that's helpful too. It's a little weird because people from Rochester can't come here the way they usually do. A lot of the lock system on our barge canal is closed. They were rehabbing the locks in February and March, mostly March, and all of that work stopped, I believe, the 17th of March when the emergency order went into effect in New York State. So my lock in Brewerton, up maybe 2-3 miles from my house, is closed right now. They're hoping to get most of those locks open by July 4th weekend, because there's a lot of people that live upriver that can't get to the lake. They have to physically trailer their boats to a boat launch to get on the lake. And that's kind of disconcerting for a lot of people, because one of the reasons you have a house on the water is to be able to put your boat into the water. And usually with a lock system, it's really nice because you can put your boat into the water in Rochester, and you could come all the way down to Oneida Lake. You could go up to Oswego. You could go to Lake Ontario. You could come out to the St. Lawrence Seaway. You could go so far east that you could actually make it to the Hudson River. There's a lot of people that do that. Sometimes people buy boats and then they take them down to Florida with a professional crew to take the boat through the locks. I saw a few of those last year. Annette Lock Park is one where I like to go and sit and I just watch the boats. That's what I did last summer. So I'm looking forward to doing that again because, you know, people are friendly. Everybody waves. I can wear a mask and be socially distanced from people. We usually socially distance anyways because of the fishing. It's a popular fishing spot. But it's nice because you see all different kinds of people. They can tie up their boats and have a barbecue. There's barbecue grills. There's like a porta potty. I don't know that you could camp there, but you know, like there's some facilities available. And it's really easy to get in and out. The lock system is because the water levels are different. So I forget which way it goes, whether it's lower on the barge end or higher or lower on the lake end. So basically they'll fill up the lock to make it be the right water depth to go into the next part of the water, or they'll lower it so you can go into the lower part. I forget which is which. It's been a few years. So I've rambled on much too much, but when you're alone and you live by yourself, but I had a good birthday last weekend. Friends of mine made homemade pizza at their house and we hung out on their deck. Socially distanced. I wore a mask. You know, we went out for ice cream even. Wearing masks. And so we're all good. Everybody is being careful. I am being careful. It just is, they keep calling it the new normal. I don't think it's normal. I think it's just new. So we'll just call it the present reality because that works a lot easier. So have a good week, and I hope your crafting keeps your mind off of everything that's going on in the world because we all need a little bit of respite from time to time. Have a good one, guys.